I could book that for like the weekend of the 14th when the soundtrack comes out? If so, bump somebody. All right, thanks. All right, love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Diddy is one of the wealthiest rappers and business moguls on the face of the earth. He owns one of the most valuable record labels in the music industry, a fashion brand, and was once regarded as the face of black excellence. He is the perfect grass-to-grace story, a simple American dream. However, behind his outstanding image lies a history of allegations, lawsuits, conspiracies, and conflicts that make the rapper the music industry's greatest villain. In this video, we dive deep into the many controversies Diddy has been involved in that make him one of the most notorious entertainers in the industry. Sit back and watch as we reveal the dark and unspoken parts of Diddy's grass-to-grace story. Diddy was born in a Harlem neighborhood in New York City on November 4th, 1969. After his father was murdered in 1979, his mother took full custody of him and raised him in Mount Vernon, where he attended high school and would become a business major at Howard University. However, his time as a student was cut very short, as he dropped out of the university in his sophomore year. This single act, however, marked the beginning of the Diddy we all know. Diddy dropped out of university to intern at Uptown Records, which was run by Andre Harrell. This was his introduction to the music industry and the start of many of his controversies. His partnership with Andre Harrell led him to work with many other artists, such as Mary J. Blige, Al B. Sure, and Heavy D. A year after he joined Uptown Records, he partnered with Heavy D to promote an AIDS fundraiser at the City College of New York. The event oversold, resulting in a stampede where 9 people died. This failure, along with a few others, led Diddy to be fired from Uptown Records in 1993. Being kicked out of Uptown was a rather big moment for Diddy. He used the opportunity to partner with Arista Records to create his very own record label, Bad Boy Entertainment. The founding of Bad Boy Records marked the start of Diddy's journey to becoming a business mogul as well as a rapper. However, the label was shrouded in a lot of allegations of immoral and shady business practices for many years. It started when Diddy signed the 2 rising stars, Notorious Big and Craig Mack, to the label. At first, the 2 rappers quickly became the biggest hits in the rap industry. Their projects, which were the first to be published by Bad Boy, made it to Billboard's Hot 100 and other charts and were even Grammy nominated. However, the tragedy began when Craig began having problems with Diddy. In Craig's words, he gave Diddy a price for the first album, which he assumed was smaller than what he should have charged. However, Diddy offered to pay in installments, giving Craig a third at a time. Craig agreed, but Diddy didn't keep up with the promise. As a result of Diddy's breach of agreement, Craig refused to make another album until he got paid for the first. He had every right to. However, Diddy threatened Craig and went ahead to tell the public that Craig would be dropping a new album with the label in 1995. Craig realized he couldn't work with Diddy, so as a result of the threats he received, he asked Diddy to meet him at the studio at an appointed time. There are still rumors that suggest that Diddy put a hit on Craig. However, what is confirmed is the fact that Craig had a gun with him, prepared for the worst. The upcoming rapper eventually left the record label and the music industry in general, but rumors of Diddy's ties with hitmen have only just started. While Diddy and Craig were having their conflict, the notorious Big took the spotlight to become the biggest rapper in the industry. Well, that was until one of, if not the most popular rappers of all time, took a share of the spotlight. Around the time Big rose to fame in the East, another rising star was making a name for himself in the West. That star was Tupac. At the time, people believed that New York in the East was the home of hip-hop, but that was slightly changing. With acts like Compton, California's NWA, in the late 1980s, attention was shifting to the West, and it only became worse with the creation of Death Row Records. Death Row Records, founded by Suge Knight and Dr. Dre, became big enough to rival Diddy's Bad Boy. The rivalry became worse when stars like Tupac signed with Death Row. Many people know how this story ends. On September 13, 1996, Tupac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. A few months later, Biggie was killed in a similar fashion. Now, the details behind both killings are still regarded as rumors without concrete evidence, but many people believe the one responsible, the one who ordered the hit on Tupac, was none other than Diddy. In fact, some people believe that the West carried out Biggie's murder because they thought for sure that Diddy was behind Tupac's death. So, an eye for an eye, a star for a star. However, as mentioned earlier, most of the accusations were dismissed as simple rumors. Well, that was until 2003 when Bad Boy's former president and Diddy's former friend filed a lawsuit against him. In 2003, Kirk Burroughs filed a lawsuit, claiming that Diddy threatened him with a bat, asking him to sign off on his share of the business in 1996. During the hearing, Burroughs said that Diddy was the one who ordered the hit on Tupac and Suge Knight. Judging the person accusing Diddy, the rumors started to hold a lot of water. But they didn't end there. Burroughs also accused Diddy of overseeing an attack on Steve Stout, who was the Interscope Records executive, and sending his men to threaten and stalk John Bentley, a music promoter who had to reportedly flee to the UK out of fear for his life. The allegations, however, were immediately dismissed by Diddy's lawyer, who said they were entirely baseless and without merit. The rumors were dropped for many years with no solid evidence, and Burroughs refused to explain further. That was until October 2023. The tomb of the buried allegations was pushed back open when evidence showed that Dwayne Davis, popularly known as Keith D, was arrested for the murder of Tupac. Keith D then confessed that while he was the one behind the trigger, Diddy was the one who ordered the hit on Tupac. In his words, he claimed that Diddy was angry at Suge Knight because of his infamous diss to Bad Boy at the 1995 Source Awards, and he was angry at Tupac for the diss track Hit 'Em Up. Once again, Diddy claimed the allegations were pure fiction and completely ridiculous, just like the majority of the allegations against him. However, as ridiculous as some of them are, they are as real as you can get. Following Biggie's death, Bad Boy signed another talented protege in 1997, who was later recognized as the next Biggie. As a 19-year-old, Shyne signed a record deal with Bad Boy that put him under the spotlight. This partnership led him to feature on many hit songs and release many multi-platinum albums. Things were looking good, and he was about to be the new face of the East. Well, that was until things began to look very bad for both the youngster and Diddy. On the 27th of December 1999, a shooting occurred in a Manhattan nightclub involving Shyne, Diddy and his bodyguard and Jennifer Lopez, who was dating Diddy at the time. Following the shooting, Shyne was accused of several felonies, including attempted murder and second and third degree assault. Diddy was also accused of possessing a gun and bribing a witness. The court hearings began in June of 2000, and a year later, Shyne was sentenced to a 10-year prison sentence, while Diddy was acquitted of all charges. The sentence could have been much worse as the rapper faced up to 25 years in prison, but he admitted to firing a gun and argued he did so in self-defense, which lessened the sentence. Diddy, however, walked free as if nothing had happened. The whole court proceedings were a media dumpster fire, but the aftermath left journalists and fans alike tagging Shyne as Diddy's fall guy. According to mainstream media outlets, Diddy had a witness who testified that the hip-hop mogul did not have a gun, and so did not take part in the shooting. So basically, he pushed all the blame on Shyne and let the 22-year-old take the fall for what happened that night. Shyne may have been found guilty, but people still believe that Diddy could have done a lot better than throwing his younger protege down the abyss to take the fall for him. Diddy did what he had to save his skin, and it became clear to many that he had no problems using the people around him to achieve anything he thought was achievable. In 2000, Diddy came up with an idea to start a reality TV show on MTV, which he titled Making the Band. On the second part of the show, Diddy decided to create a hip-hop group he called The Band. Just like a lot of things Diddy gets his hands on, the season was a hit. Not because of anything special, no, but because people were eager to see what new atrocity disguised as a task Diddy had planned for the group. On one occasion, Diddy asked the group to walk through Brooklyn in the middle of the night to find a cheesecake for him from a very specific store.
Yo, fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
They could not take a car, a taxi, or any form of public transportation, and they had to walk a little over 5 miles in the middle of the night for the snack run. An extremely ridiculous task to force on grown adults, in which he backed it by saying,
It's a bigger picture to it. In the world of music, I gotta get up every day and do a bunch of that I don't wanna do. I gotta bite my tongue and I gotta do it with a smile on my face. But I do want some cheesecake.
And while that may be true regarding some things, music artists certainly aren't forced to walk over 5 miles to get their producer food. And despite all of this, the group was disbanded on the season's finale. Since then, multiple members of the band have come out voicing how they really felt about Diddy's demeaning methods and the trauma that he left behind. One of the members, Freddie P, took to Instagram after Diddy threatened to make a new season nearly 2 decades later, claiming his experience with Diddy has continued to cause him serious mental distress. So much so, he's considered taking his own life. Honestly, it just gets worse, and while Diddy has received backlash, it just never went anywhere. Following the dissolution of the band, Diddy decided to make a pop girl group by gathering contestants from across the country that matched his requirements. The bad boy boss brought in about 40 contestants to participate in 2 entire seasons of the show, and in the end, the selected contestants were Aubrey, Andrea, Shannon, Dee Woods, and Dawn, who were known as Danity Kane. Within a short period, the ladies went multi-platinum, topped global charts, and made it to the Guinness World Book of Records. However, their time with Diddy was filled with a lot of drama, and the group barely stayed together thanks to the rapper. Diddy was very critical of the group members, despite their talent, skill, and beauty. He made comments about their vocals, called out their appearance, made comments about their bodies, and put them up against each other. All of this he did on live TV during the reality show. He often made comments about their weight and booed their singing until they stopped if he wasn't satisfied with what they were doing. He was the reason they had many issues, but he hardly felt bad about them. In his defense, the billionaire rapper said he did it to thicken their skin and prepare them for the real world. Diddy constantly put the girls in difficult positions for public entertainment, which was unjustifiable. He made fun of them and objectified them so that people may derive their entertainment. However, that wouldn't be the only moment the bad boy boss viciously toyed with people. In fact, the rapper may have a history of using the most unsuspecting people as sex objects for his own dramatic reasons. The hip-hop mogul has stayed on top of the industry for a few decades, so it is obvious that most people would rather avoid the smoke. However, a lot of people have said or hinted at Diddy making advances or trying to have intimate relationships with other men in order to get them what they want. At some points, he even hinted at it all by himself.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Many people associated with the bad boy boss have, at one point or another, tried to expose him for being gay. The most high-profile associate is none other than 50 Cent. 50 is more rival than associate, which means that on the one hand, he has many reasons to want to tear down the bad boy boss, and on the other, he knows a lot about the mogul and isn't afraid to speak out. In which case, he hasn't been afraid at all. 50 has called out Diddy on multiple occasions for favoring men and being fruity. The Many Men rapper is not the only one who tries to expose Diddy's queerness. His former bodyguard has also been giving accounts of strange things that he noticed while he worked for the bad boy boss. He has exposed Diddy to many inappropriate and strange acts, such as buying butt plugs, running gay clubs, and having intimate relationships with a list of rappers. In a recent video that's been circulating on the internet, the ex-bodyguard accuses Diddy of going to Turkish baths, where he meets other gay men and bathes together. However, many people were hardly bothered by the accusations. That was Diddy having a consensual relationship after all. The rapper is notorious for having very non-consensual relationships where he forces himself on unsuspecting targets. Two very good examples of these are the teenage Usher and Justin Bieber. Usher was signed into Bad Boy Records when he was about 13. The R&B crooner was taken in as one of Diddy's proteges and was mentored by him in a place called Puffy's Flavor House. Thanks to Usher and Diddy's partnership, the young singer had the opportunity to meet with many prominent rappers, such as Biggie and Tupac. However, the experience wasn't as rosy for Usher as you would imagine. Apart from having access to drugs, alcohol, and champagne at such a young age, Diddy also exposed him to a very inappropriate, intimate relationship despite being just 13. Anyone would believe meeting Diddy at the time means you made it, when unfortunately it means dealing with possible trauma. Information regarding this relationship is only in bits and pieces, but many have testified to seeing a 14-year-old Usher guzzling down champagne and staying in the same room as Diddy. There are even rumors that Usher got herpes from Diddy and gave it to another man. Diddy also got involved with another popular teenager a few years later, Justin Bieber, who was later signed by Usher and mentored by Diddy. He also got to experience the Flavor House in a similar way, but for only 48 hours. At first, Diddy offered him a Ferrari and a mansion. Showering his targets with inconceivable gifts seems like his normal MO. For 15-year-old Bieber, everything was perfectly normal. No one could have suspected anything. Rich celebrities throw cars around all the time. But things got weird when Diddy said they would be doing things he couldn't disclose on camera. What could he be doing with a 15-year-old that was too inappropriate for the camera? A few years later, Justin Bieber opened up about how he had to turn to drugs to cope with what had happened that night. However, he never fully disclosed what happened in the house. The game also opened up about how Bad Boy's boss led him to believe he would be signed into Bad Boy Records for 2 entire years. He mentioned that Diddy always wanted to take him places and go shopping and wanted a full-blown relationship. However, he made it clear he wasn't interested, and so he lost the deal. Similarly, 50 Cent was asked to also go shopping, which what we feel could be insinuating something a bit more.
Like, yo, it's like, yo, so yo, when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we can just hang out, nigga, we gotta kick it.
This is
Puff.
Okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it and shit, and he's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck this nigga just said?
About that. And he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah. I thought he needed some clothes. I'm a nice guy.
Yo, why are you and Fifth just...
Hey, yo.
Why y'all not...
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef. With,
I don't know why.
With Fifth, he loves me.
Yeah,
Y'all can't
man.
see that he loves me?
But see,
you really, hold on, you really think that's hate? When you really break it down, you've been out here a long time. You know he loves me.
I got the fuck away from him because I was like, this nigga, fucking, this nigga just tell me he'd take me shopping. And this is shit that goes on. Because you're a little fruit pile.
Besides being queer, Diddy also has unbelievable fetishes that are now coming to light in the form of lawsuits. One of such lawsuits is the one filed by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Cassie is a singer, songwriter, actress, model, and dancer who was discovered by Diddy after she released her first hit single in 2006. The single made it to number 3 on Billboard's Hot 200, and she released a follow-up album shortly afterwards. In 2008, Cassie made her acting debut in Step Up Part 2, where she acted as Sophie Donovan. Her career was promising, and she was obviously a rising star. However, like a lot of prodigies, she had the misfortune of meeting Diddy. In 2006, Cassie met Diddy, and she went on to sign with Bad Boy Entertainment. That year, Diddy produced her new album and made a remix of her hit single, Me and You. A year later, they started dating. Their relationship wasn't really eventful at first. They denied rumors and hid from the public until 2012, when they appeared together in Kanye's Paris Fashion Week show. A few years later, rumors sprouted of the two getting engaged as Diddy posted a picture of Cassie wearing a diamond ring. However, they broke up a year later and the rumors died along with the relationship. The two of them were a textbook celebrity couple that people loved to admire. However, hardly anyone knew of the atrocities that happened during their time together. On November 16, 2023, Cassie filed a lawsuit revealing all of the dehumanizing things Diddy put her through. According to a New York Times article, Cassie said that Diddy began a pattern of control and abuse that included plying her with drugs, beating her, and forcing her to have sex with a succession of male prostitutes while he filmed everything. Diddy actively denies having anything to do with the accusations, and he dismisses them as overly outrageous. However, Cassie's lawyers say that Diddy offered her 8 figures not to say a word. Some people say that Cassie should have filed the lawsuit earlier, but Diddy is one of the most powerful entertainers on the planet. Going against him in such a manner is a kind of social suicide. She prepared and did what she had to before filing the case. Hopefully, she is luckier than Diddy's ex. Kim and Diddy dated each other on and off for 13 years, between 1994 and 2007. During his period, Kim had 3 children for the rapper. While the relationship didn't end up being a success, it is still considered Diddy's most successful relationship. However, given Diddy's known history of treating women like playthings, people do believe that Kim might have gone through more than any other person involved with him and that her death was not ordinary. Kim and Diddy met during the billionaire's time at Uptown Records, where she was Andre Harrell's assistant. Before she started dating Diddy, she dated a former member of Uptown Records, Al B. Shaw, and had a child for him. This child was eventually adopted by Diddy, as he was the one willing to step up. As time went on, Diddy and Kim dated, only to be separated, only to be reunited again. In 2006, Kim was pregnant with twins, but around the same time, someone else was pregnant with Diddy. The realization that Diddy cheated caused their separation. Some years later, the two reconciled and spent holidays together in the same house. However, by the end of 2018, Kim had died of pneumonia. Her death was very mysterious, and there are a lot of theories trying to explain how Kim, who looked healthy until just before her death, died out of nowhere. While the rumors don't have much of a standard basis, they all point back to Diddy. Diddy's bodyguard said that the man is a known woman beater and that Kim was about to do something that would have exposed Diddy's actions to the public, along with his alleged intimate relations with other men, including Usher. Kim intended to write a book to completely expose Diddy's dark history. However, Diddy caught wind of that plan and didn't allow it. Rumors have it that Diddy bought a 24-carat coffin before Kim died and that the death was first ruled out as homicide. She was reported to have died of a lung infection, but some say she bled and crawled all the way to her bathroom. Following Kim's death, her ex and the father of her first child, Al B. Shaw, asked if the police could reinvestigate her death because he was sure she was murdered. Not long after that, Al went into a coma. Al is the only former member of Uptown Records who is still alive today, besides Diddy. The majority of the others died either by heart attack or by pneumonia when they were working on books or documentaries to expose all that had happened between themselves and Diddy. Diddy has so much to hide and is under fire from a lot of people for being the music industry's greatest villain. However, there is hardly any proof of these accusations, and there is hardly any intervention from the authorities. In the end, it is hard to ignore the sheer amount of people who have to say about the rapper, which points to some truth in the overall accusations. At some point, hopefully, there will be proper investigations from authorities to get justice to every one of his victims. Not to mention, this isn't even everything he's been accused of, and it gets much, much deeper. What do you guys think? Is he guilty Or are these all seemingly wrong place, wrong time situations? Let us know in the comments section. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.